Hello, wherever you are. This is our trigonometry review. We're calling it Unit 4, even though in the booklets it would be Units 4 and 5, and in our materials we used for class it was Unit 9. So we're going to start off finding missing sides, missing angles. Number 1, we're going to find the missing side x. We have the angle 72. Since that angle is so large, 72 has a hard time fitting in there. We're talking about this angle right here. Okay, so then hypotenuse would be 19, opposite the 90, and x is forming the angle 72 degrees. So that would make it adjacent. We're using a and h, that means we're going to use cosine. A divided by h. So the cosine of 72 degrees is x divided by 19. When the x is up high, you multiply right here along the diagonal. So x is 19 times cosine 72. Calculator time, we're going to round to the nearest hundredth. 19 times cosine 72. Make sure your calculator is in degrees mode. 5.87. Oop, not degrees, just 5.87. Okay, number 2, we're going to find the angle theta. That's right down here on point A. 2 would be opposite, and 3.6 adjacent. The unknown side is the hypotenuse. So that would be tangent, right? TOA. The tangent of the angle is 2 over 3.6. Well, that's the ratio, but we need the angle. So if we apply the inverse tangent to both sides of the equation, theta is tangent inverse 2 over 3.6. Calculator time. You have to press the second button, then tangent. .05 degrees. In number 3, solve the triangle completely. So we have 3 things to answer here. 1, 2, 3. First, the measure of angle A. Well, angle A and angle B have to add up to 90 because we already have a 90 in the triangle and the angles have to add up to 180. So if we just do 90 degrees minus 31 degrees, then that's 59 degrees. That will be the measure of angle A. The measure of side A. So I want to use everything that's labeled on the diagram, and we want to use 31 degrees. So in some of our times of doing this, we put a little man there, called him different things. So the little man, from his point of view on angle B, then A would be considered adjacent. Not because it's the letter A and the letter A, but because side A forms the angle 31 degrees. That would make B opposite, and of course 7 is the hypotenuse. So if I want to find A, I'm going to need to use A and H. So again, cosine. So the cosine of 31 degrees is little a over 7, and that's 7 miles. I'm solving for A up high. I'm going to multiply 7 times cosine 31. Calculator time. Six. Even to the nearest hundredth. So like that. And that will be in miles. Side B would be using the opposite side, and we'll use the hypotenuse again. So that will be sine. Sine of 31 degrees is B over 7. Cross multiply again. 7 times sine of 31. 3.61 miles. All right, now we move into our more integrated 3-level questions. Number 4, state the quadrant in which the terminal side of each angle lies. So from 750, we need to draw out how many turns of 360 that would be. We take away 360 once, and 750 minus 360 is 390. We can do it again, because 360 degrees is an entire turn around the circle. So that would leave us with 30 degrees. Now, that's not the answer. It says, state the quadrant in which the terminal side of each angle lies. 30 degrees is in quadrant 1. Number 5, name the following. The reference angle for the angle shown below. So we have 200 degrees past 180, how far? We went 20 degrees past 180, and there's our reference angle. It's between 0 and 90, so it's positive. And if you're looking for a formula, it depends on where you are. Depending on the quadrant, you could be doing 180 minus the angle, the angle minus 180, 360 minus the angle. Okay, so really, if you have the diagram, it's a lot easier to just look at it and figure out whether you're supposed to add or subtract, and what you're supposed to add or subtract. Okay, moving on to number 6. Draw the reference triangle and find the exact value of the trig ratio. So let's see here. We got -2 square root of 5 is up here in the second quadrant. Here's the triangle. The triangle always goes 90 degrees to the x-axis. -2 is here on the x-axis. Root 5 is on the y. I need the hypotenuse if I'm going to find the cosine. So let me solve for that using Pythagorean theorem. Square root of 5 squared plus -2 squared is hypotenuse squared. So I have 5 plus 4 is h squared, and that's 9. So if I take the square root, h is 3. And I don't have to worry about being -3 because we're talking about a positive distance here. Okay, now I have the diagram. Now I can name the cosine. The cosine of the angle is the adjacent side. Here's the angle. Adjacent side is -2. Hypotenuse 3. Number 7. Okay, now where am I? I'm at 7, -24. So that means I'm down way over here. Always right angle to the x-axis. Okay, so the angle, and let's see, 7 would be the horizontal, and -24. Now, this is a Pythagorean theorem, but I'm just going to show you that h does work out to a whole number here. So hypotenuse always stands alone. H squared equals 7 squared plus negative 24 squared. So h squared is 49 plus, most people don't memorize 24 squared. It is 576. And then I add 49 onto that. I get 625. And that's a perfect square. H is 25. So 7, 24, 25 is a Pythagorean triple. Now I can answer what's the sign. Opposite would be negative 24 and hypotenuse 25. And there we go. Number 8 tells me the quadrant I'm in. I'm in quadrant 2. Over here, here's the angle, reference angle. The tangent is negative 3/4. So tangent is opposite over adjacent. That means 3 is opposite, 4 is adjacent. I have to figure out where the negative is based on the diagram. So opposite 3, that would be positive 3 because that's up. But 4 would be the negative because I'm going left. You recognize that? That's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. Hypotenuse is 5. Sine is 3/5. All positive. Okay, and lastly, for trig, I've got some information here about where the angle is. It's between 180 and 270. That means it's in quadrant 3, somewhere over here. Okay, where the x is negative and the y is negative. But the hypotenuse will be positive, right? So if the sine is so, and I have negative 8/11, 8 and 11, then from the diagram, I'll figure out which one's negative. So here's my angle. Opposite, yes, I am going down 8. So there's the negative. And hypotenuse always considered positive. Now I need Pythagorean theorem for this third side. You can call it anything you want to call it. I'm just going to call it x. Now remember, hypotenuse stands alone. So 11 squared equals, and the legs are always together, x squared plus negative 8 squared. That's how I know. See, it's not just what I'm looking for that goes alone. It's the hypotenuse stands alone. So we got 121 is x squared plus 64. 121 minus 64 is 57. And, gee, I don't think anything goes into 57. No, actually 3 goes in there. 3 goes into 57, but then it would be 3 times 19. So I really can't reduce radical 57, and I want to do it as exact. See, it says up here, find the exact value. So I'm not going to mess with radical 57. Okay, that's just up here. And in fact, oops, it's negative radical 57 because of where it is. It's in the fourth or the third quadrant. Okay, now I'm supposed to find the tangent. Opposite over adjacent. So the tangent of the angle is negative 8 over negative 57, oops, root 57. Okay, the negative and the negative cancel out, so it'll be positive. And then 8 over root 57 is going to be 8 root 57 over 57. 57 is 3 times 19, so I have nothing to reduce with the 8. That means we're done. Okay, and then the last 3 are a review of basically the rest of the year. So we've got a quadratic to start with. We're going to add 4 to both sides, and that'll be 36. We'll take the square root of the left and the right. And this time, don't forget to put in a plus or minus. Then we subtract 5. So x is negative 5 plus or minus 6. Now we split the plus or minus. Negative 5 plus 6, and that's 1. Negative 5 minus 6, negative 11. So x is in a solution set of 2 numbers. Number 11. We're going to isolate n to the third power by first dividing by 2. And 54 divided by 2 is 27. Well, if I take the third root, however you want to do it, as a fraction or as a single symbol, then the cube root of 27 is 3. So there we go. There's our answer. And on this, there is no plus or minus. On the odd powers, it's either positive or negative. So there we go. And number 12, we're going to take divided by 5. 80 divided by 5, 16 is 2 to the t. Now, you could just guess the answer here, right? Because 2 to the 4th is 16. So there's your answer. But if it's not guessable, we just do the log of the left and equals the log of the right. That t then gets to move out in front. And so if you just do the log of 16 divided by the log of 2, like that, you should get 4. The log of 16 divided by the log of 2. Of course, it's exactly 4. And there we go. Wish you the best. See you next time.